Welcome to Women in Retail Talks. I'm Melissa Campanelli, the co-founder of the Women in Retail Leadership Circle. And today we have a very special episode for you. Andrea Severson, the founder and president of IER Partners and frequent contributor to the Inner Circle e-letter, will be conducting an interview with her friend, colleague, and Women in Retail board member, Margaret Moraskie, who just happens to be the newly named CEO of the Levenger company. So instead of having someone from our team doing the interview today, we are lucky enough to have Andrea take on the reins. So Andrea, I'm going to let you take it away from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Jen, for this opportunity for Margaret and I to have a chat out loud with your listeners. As I said before, it's a true gift to work with friends. I've known Margaret for more than a decade and have had the honor of working with her in two of her marketing roles, both at Boston Proper and at Levenger. We share many things in common, a few things we're going to share with you shortly, but let me first begin by welcoming Margaret and congratulating her on her brand new role as Levenger's first female CEO since Steve and Lori Levine founded the company in 1987. Not only did Margaret become their first female CEO, but she did so in the middle of a pandemic and in the middle of the holiday season. Margaret, tell us what that's been like and tell us about what you're most excited for in your new role.
Thank you so much, Andrea. And I express my thanks to Melissa and Jen as well. It is so nice to have people eavesdropping in on what would be one of our normal conversations. There's so much excitement. And I think because you've had the privilege, or we've had the privilege of working together on some deep brand work for Levenger, the most exciting thing is probably the heritage and strength that we carry, maybe crystallized in this in last unprecedented year. Read, write, think, dream, do. And I love that that's what we stand behind. I love the customers who do it every day, and they teach us so much. It has been just such a pleasure, albeit chaotic last holiday season, to get to know this brand even more intimately than I already do. And I'm just so grateful for that, and to have such a wonderful heritage of product and brand and a team to lead into the future.
Well, I think we're sort of calling this conversation turning the page or creating a new chapter, and Levenger gets to do that now under your leadership, Margaret. A very exciting time. One of the things when I was working with you and your team on brand work, something that really spoke to me, and I know you and I both share this in common, is our passion for customers. And I love that Steve and Lori, when they started the company, said that they aren't changing the world, but their customers are. Could you tell our listeners more about that idea, just how Levenger's customers are changing the world?
It is one of my favorite quotes. We have a building that is filled with quotes. And this one from our founder, Steve and Lori, really resonates. You know, it's modern lingo. Everybody talks about being customer centric and putting the customer at the middle of everything. And here we are, a company that was founded in 1987. And that is the philosophy. We sell pens and paper and beautiful leather goods and professional accessories, but we sell them to people who are doing meaningful, important work. And there is nothing that is not meaningful and important in anything that our customers do, from teachers to doctors to lawyers to writers to executives. Those are the people who are going forth and making a huge difference in the world. And we are just providing the tools for them to do it. And so when we think about our why, we are here to provide them the tools that they need to achieve and accomplish their goals, to recognize one another. All of the language that we talk about, both in human resources today and in executive leadership and planning, and these are just the tools that let them achieve their dreams. And that goes for a high school student, a college graduate, somebody setting out on a new path. That is really exciting. And we love to be their partner or facilitate in any small way the pleasure of turning that new page and starting a fresh chapter.
Well, Margaret, I can attest to the brand not only as a professional that's partnered with you, but as a customer. I've been a long-term customer of Levenger's. I love my purple leather totes and my portfolios, and of course that free leaf note paper. I just feel like I think better when I'm taking notes on that note paper. And I know I'm not alone with your other customers. One of the other things that you and I share, in addition to this passion for really becoming intimate with your customers, really understanding their needs and their nuances, is the whole idea of analog lives as they connect with our digital lives. You and I are both readers and journalers, and we know your customers are too. Tell us a little more about just how your products and your innovation and heritage has really played a big part in these pandemic times, especially with our customers' analog lives.
We talk a lot about helping our customers, helping people to flourish in whatever it is that they are doing, how to succeed. We know there's many articles and documented science and proven that the art of writing, the physical act of writing something on a piece of paper, helps you remember it, helps you expand on it, think even more about it. We all have digital, and we do believe in the marriage of the digital versus an analog, because it's very handy to have your calendar on your phone as well as that physical calendar. But what's happened last year, as people turned inward, literally and figuratively, we saw a surge for those analog tools, the pens, the journals, the planners, all of the tools that would help somebody work, create, dream from home. And it seemed that 2020 really rekindled or ignited that passion for things that gave us more comfort. We heard about comfort in clothing and people reorganizing their homes, et cetera, et cetera. And the art of paper and the feel, that sort of tactile sensation of pen to paper or to opening a leather journal, really seemed to see a resurgence as folks wanted to document their lives, plan their dreams, rewrite a resume, whatever the case may be. And we were so proud to be able to be a small part of that system reset, for lack of a better word. And we have seen people flourishing. People have told us stories about the products that helped them get used to life. And as all of us were on Zoom calls and phone calls and digital overload on a daily basis, even more than we had been, they really welcomed and cherished the analog tools to help them think or compartmentalize different parts of their life.
I love thinking about how Levenger played a role in your customers' resilience for these really trying times. I know you've told me just how resilient your team has been, Margaret. As a leader, tell us more about just how your team helped your customers flourish, how they've helped you and Levenger achieve their goals for 2020 and strategize for 2021.
Well, there's really not enough you can say about the team. You know, I call us small but mighty. We are a small business, and that comes with a small group of folks. Sometimes that makes transitioning easier than when you have to turn a large ship around or even re-navigate your course. I have never seen a group of people move so quickly to ensure that we were able to stand up the business with everybody working safely from home and allowing everything from our distribution center, our call center. We were able to support the needs of the customers at the time, and it was done seamlessly, without a backward glance, with just positivity, so that we could keep the wheels on the bus. And people were innovating. You know, I just read an article about what has happened to merchants in the last year without the ability to travel and source product and be inspired. And yet, and still, our team here from, the merchants found innovation in file cabinets as well as research online. And our distribution center figured out how to redo the lines so that they were appropriately spaced and safe. And our call center were all able to take calls from home without missing a step in service or coaching. It has been truly remarkable testament. And I know that we are not the only business who did this. I just cannot get over the small group of people that made it happen literally overnight. And all the way through our holiday season, which of course is a big season, and the difficulties that came with that logistically. They just never cease to amaze me every day. On days when I'm not feeling very inspired and innovative, it doesn't take long talking to some of the folks here to get my fire back and want to hit the ground running again. And it's just such a privilege and an honor to be able to work with them every day.
Well, I love the experiences of your small and mighty team and how they've really come alongside your customers. As a merchant at heart, I want to hear more about what you just mentioned about finding innovation in a filing cabinet. What did you mean by that?
That could actually have two meanings. You never know when you can innovate product that everybody uses every day, such as a file cabinet, and being able to take one with you, even if it's from the living room to the kitchen or your home office space. But we read customer feedback every day. It's the way we start our day. I think you even pointed out another brand that sort of starts with their cup of the customer every day, and that inspired that habit here. And we started to see just requests for products, and I've been with Levenger for about 3 years and started to research those products that people were asking for over and over again. And we went back to the archives and we were able to products that are coming out this year, but ones that we were able to bring back last year, and with the assistance of our suppliers and partners and designers, bring them back to those customers to an overwhelming response, again, for very analog type products. Two that sort of jump straight to mind are our copper page nibs. As a reader, how many times do you mark down the corner of a page? These page nibs sit beautifully. I have a couple of friends who are chefs and cooks, and they love to mark their favorite recipes with them without damaging the book. And the other one is, and also true to our heritage of reading, a book weight, so that when you want to hold a book open, instead of, I don't know, putting your phone or another book on it or whatever device you use to hold the book open, this is actually a beautifully crafted leather weight that holds the pages of the book together. And so when I talk about innovation in a file cabinet, it's being able to pull out some of those tried and true products that maybe we got bored of long before the customers did, and introduce them to a whole new generation of customers, which is even more wonderful to see that they're still being so warmly received. I know a lot of both of those were given as holiday gifts last year.
Well, gosh, those are two great examples of beautifully created yet simple products that really become so useful in your customers' lives. I love those examples, Margaret. Thank you. Certainly, the other thing we've chatted about in the past is how really ahead of its time Levenger was in 1987, really outfitting beautiful spaces for work. Tell us a little more about how they, the heritage of work from home and work in home offices for Levenger.
You are exactly right. In the late 80s and 90s, when we were sort of first coming to the forefront, the home office, I suppose, movement is as good a word as any, had started to take over, and people were outfitting their offices, and they wanted them to be beautiful and have great furniture and functional, useful pieces. And we were there, right place, right time, and were able to fill that need. And it seems to me that as we went through 2020 and saw, as people started to work from home again, there became a need, especially in urban areas or anywhere there's really small spaces. Some folks don't have a home office because they were going to a place to work. they turn to us yet again for solutions to fit, whether they worked from home, taught from home, studied from home, created from home. We saw a big resurgence in some of those core and heritage products that helped them to do that, because with everybody spending so much time in their home, you still wanted to be surrounded by nice things, especially when you're staring at them every day and you may not be getting out to do anything else. And so we were able to fortunately keep our supplies in stock for the most part, and outfit customers as they learn to readjust to what their day-to-day life looked like.
I know, Margaret, you've been grateful for every member of your team, both in the way they've supported your vision, but also in the way they've helped your customers flourish. Gratitude is such an important part of our, kind of reawakening in these pandemic times. Any other expressions of gratitude you'd like to share?
I think first off, I would just say how grateful I am to be here and to be part of such a wonderful organization. Last year, March of last year, we weren't even sure that we would still be in business by the end of 2020. And I know I am not the only person who experienced that feeling. So first and foremost, I am grateful to our customers and our associates for enabling us to still be here and to provide useful tools and help people read, write, think, dream, and do. It's a pleasure. Of course, I'm super grateful to the Women in Retail Leadership Circle. They have provided they continue to provide all types of resources for us as we were trying to adjust from how to help motivate your teams to, figuring out the Zoom calls to having peer roundtables. It was just a tremendous help when you needed really to talk to somebody to figure it out, because we were in unprecedented times. Of course, the team that keeps the wheels on the bus here, but for our customers who really kept us in business and really allowed us to keep working so that they could keep working and dreaming and doing. And, for that is no small task. And I am aware and grateful of it every day when I get up and I get to come here and sort of do the next round of work that has to be done. So it's a tremendous privilege, especially after everything that everybody went through last year. And for that, I am grateful.
Well, Margaret, we're grateful for this chat, and I hope the listeners have appreciated just some of the tidbits that we've shared about grit and gratitude, customer intimacy, finding innovation in some tried and true places, and the importance of paying attention to your analog life as well as your digital life. So on behalf of both of us, I just want to wish all of our listeners a beautiful beginning to 2021. And we hope that it is filled with all sorts of reading, writing, thinking, dreaming, and doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. I'm just going to jump in here and say thank you so much to Andrea and Margaret for joining us on this episode of Women in Retail Talks. I feel like I learned so much. I feel like I thought I knew so much about you, Margaret, but now I know even more. And I also want to thank everyone out there for listening to Women in Retail Talks. We always value that. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at womeninretail.com/podcasts for show notes. And Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. And also make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well if you can. And finally, if you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review it. And with that, until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks, and thanks so much. Bye-bye, everybody.